Sandra Oh, welcome to the
Hi.
Daily Show.
Oh, it's good to be here.
It is so good to have you here, and congratulations on being part of, I think it's an instant classic immediately.
I really, really hope so. I mean, it's an amazing thing to be a part of, like, the Pixar canon. It's, like, crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it really, really unabashedly talks about, like, puberty. And, like, that scene is kind of, like, about a changing of a young woman's body, about menstruation, and then also about, like, Mom, you gotta give me some space. So, you know, playing the mom, it was a really great thing to kind of lend that voice, my voice to that.
It's a fun, it's so interesting to me how Pixar has found a way to tell stories that people are almost afraid to tell in any other medium now. You know, Pixar's talking about mental health.
That's
Pixar's
exactly
talking
it.
about life and death. Pixar's now talking here about puberty.
Yeah.
And in like a very real way where I think parents, kids, it's almost like Pixar is taking over the role of, you know, the conversations that people don't want to have. You know, if you have kids and you're like, oh, puberty's coming. Let's go watch a Pixar movie. Let's go have a Pixar moment.
But I think that's it's like, so my friends who have taken their kids, particularly like 8 to 12, who are right before it, they've struck up a conversation. My friend, she has a, 8, 9-year-old kid, and he was like, what's a pad?
I love that.
Right? And then she's like, okay, he's asking me a question about it. Let's talk about this. What are hormones? Oh my gosh, someone was telling me that they had a conversation with their 12-year-old or 10-year-old about metaphor. Do you know what I mean? So like the panda, like, so basically the main character, Mei-Lin Lee, she's like a 13-year-old Chinese-Canadian girl, right? When she gets overwhelmed, like puberty, she poofs into this giant red panda, right? But the panda is like a metaphor for a lot of stuff. So even just to have the discussion of what is metaphor, I mean, come on.
I love that.
Yeah.
Is it true that somebody told you, I think it was an agent, that you should just leave America?
Yeah.
They were like, go home, there's no room for you. And they weren't saying it to you, like, get out of here. They were saying like, hey, I'll be honest with you, an Asian actress, man, there's no space for you in this industry.
Yeah, it's like crushing. Do you know what I mean? Like you're 21 and you have like a certain amount of credits, having been born and raised in Canada, at that point, I've already done films, I've already done like A-list theater.
You had won awards.
Yes, won awards, and it just like didn't matter at that time. So, but we're talking about, the mid-90s, right? So it's like, again, it's like some of the projects that I'm working with, it's amazing to age because you get like perspective, right? So like I'm doing like a press tour with Domi. She's a millennial, our director, right? And all these young girls, right? Rosalie Chang, she's 16. Maitreyi Ramakrishnan, she's like 20. And it's like, I feel like so great to go, girls, welcome, and to kind of help them out a little bit. Right. Because I'm not saying that everything has changed and we can't stop kind of working at, I hate kind of like the word like diverse storytelling because I feel it's like marginalizing,
you know what it is sometimes? Sometimes it feels like people use it as like a tokenism thing. People use it as like a pandering. I think of it as originality. That's how I think of it.
That's exactly it.
It's like at some point stories all become the same. Okay? And then the more you try and branch out and find new stories to tell, you have to find new people to tell those stories with. And I find that becomes more interesting. That
Absolutely. I totally agree. And the fact that it's also like so Domi, right? She did her Oscar-winning short Bow, and then so she was picked up by Pixar. I want to say like out of Sheridan College. She's so talented, and then after that, then she got her shot to do this because they're smart. I'm sorry, Pixar is smart. They're like the way that they consciously make films. It's all about the filmmaker, right? Yeah. And that whole thing about originality, uniqueness. It's like we want to grow the storytelling canon because I feel. I get this question a lot, which is like, oh, you work with women a lot. Like, you know what I mean? You look like women a lot. And it's like, it's true. It's true. Because that's who hires me, by the way. So all throughout my career, the majority of people who I've worked with regarding like writer-directors, right? Women of color, right? So what is it? One, why do I work with them? One, they hire me. But two, I think now it's like, oh, because, Shonda Rhimes is writing characters from her perspective as a woman. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is writing her perspective as a woman. Yes. Same with, obviously, Domi Shi and this other movie that I'm coming out, Amma by Irish Shim. It's like a young woman's perspective. So that's what's interesting because it's like coming from a point of view that I'm interested in. They're interested in like, me doing that work for them. And so That's how it's worked out so far.
I think it's working out for the best. I mean, no, really, as a viewer, as a consumer, I love it. I get to enjoy it. I mean, I'm sad that Killing Eve is coming to an end.
Yeah.
You know, that's been quite a journey, and you've left your imprint on that. What are you looking forward to?
You know, I gotta tell you, like, I'm sure, like many of us, this time during the pandemic, it really brought the thought inward.
Mm-hmm.
And also at this deeply in the midlife part of my life, I think the assessment of what is important and what I choose to put my time into is becoming more and more important. That's why, like an actor, it's just like you just want a job.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to work. So one of the things that I was able to practice after Grey's is I'm just going to sit. I'm going to sit and be uncomfortable because the usual desire to make a move or to try and get work or like, you know what I mean? Which is eventually, hopefully, the stuff that you have to grow out of.
Right. It's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel just kind of continuing that, taking, it's not like a little break, but like being discerning.
I love that. Mm-hmm. Discerning, enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
And at least we get to enjoy all the work that you've been doing for the last few years because it's coming out now.
Yeah, it's coming out now, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Oh,
and congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations on everything that you've done.
Oh, thank you so much.
Appreciate you so much. All right, people. Turning Red will be available March 11th on Disney Plus.